Hello, it is Dr. Chris Raquel, and I am back again with a video for today. I hope you all are doing amazingly on this wonderful Sunday evening. So, I have a topic for today. But first, let me say, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Send me an email, askcrystalraquel@gmail.com if you have any questions that you would love to see me answer, and I would be more than happy to do so on a video. I have a topic for today, and it's related to thirst traps. So this is more for the ladies or individuals who are wondering how they should dress when they're single, married, or maybe even gentlemen that are wondering what type of lady they should be going for when they're seeking a woman for marriage. So, ladies, it's so important for us to make sure that we're dressing appropriately. And what sparked this topic is recently on a social media platform, I saw somebody that I know, and she's a lady that is definitely single. I knew her from years back, maybe even from several years ago, and when we were younger. And the way that she was posed was in a manner that was showing her behind, and I believe she was in a swimsuit. This I saw this I thought it's not so I saw this not too long ago, and it nothing against her, she looked great, but it just reminds me of the type of things that I typically see with people who are single. And a lot of times ladies will say, well, no, I'm just doing it for me, I would look good, I want to flaunt myself. But we really have to start thinking to ourselves, so why is it that when ladies are single, they're dressed this way, and when they're not, they're dressed more appropriately? And we could say, well, no, it's because now they have a man, or they have a husband, or they have a fiance. They want to respect that individual. But that is not the case. So, men, if you're thinking that, if you think that the ladies are, covered up because they're in a relationship, that's true, but it's not out of respect for that man. I'm here to say a lot of times when ladies are exposing their bodies, whether it's by having super low cut tops, or super short skirts, or short shorts, or just clothing that is showing different parts of their body, or something that's super skin tight, it is not because they're doing it because they love the way they look or they love their bodies. We really have to get to a place where we're dressing, more modestly, in a way that is really going to, glorify God and glorify ourselves. For those of you who don't know, I do like to shop. I like clothing. I like to look cute and all those things. And recently, I was looking at reviews on a website where I purchased some items sometimes, and it was someone dressed in it was like a halter top from this store I was looking at online, and it was super cute. I was considering buying this halter top. Then I looked at the reviews and I saw a young lady and how she was wearing it. It was like super tight on her, super low cut cleavage, and then it was like squeezing her, and then she had on these super tight shorts that were also squeezing her. She wasn't a thin lady, but she wasn't somebody who was like super overweight or anything, but she wasn't somebody who was like super in shape. So, she had like, it was like squeezing super short shorts and like squeezing her in her top area everywhere. And those are the things that just come to mind. And I started like thinking to myself, wow, she's dressed in an interesting way. And then I started looking at her surroundings, and it seemed like she was out at a bar or whatever. So it's just really important for us to dress in manners that glorify God. And, I'm not saying showing skin at all is something that is wrong, because it's not. Like me, I like to, you can show your arms sometimes. I do that. Even on Mother's Day, I wore an outfit. It was like some slacks, and it came with like a matching top, and it was like a crop top. And then I had a blazer on over it. Like, I thought I looked really cute, and I still looked respectable, even though I had my midriff showing, and I had like a long blazer that covered my behind, and it had like a really good, like, nice tailored fit pants. And yeah, I loved that outfit. So I'm not saying you can't ever show skin or anything like that. My point is, make sure that we are loving ourselves and dressing in a manner that glorifies God. Most of the time, whenever I see a lady who is online showing her behind, like from behind, like taking pictures from that way, or wearing really low cut cleavage and always advertising themselves, posting a lot of videos or a lot of photos in that manner, the lady is usually single. And it is honestly to attract men. Ladies, you do not have to dress in that manner. You do not have to dress in a way where it's like you're obviously trying to catch a man. Have some respect for yourself. And I definitely noticed this. I just really started thinking about this because I noticed that there's usually a big difference with someone who is not in a relationship and someone who is. Ladies, if you are looking for a certain type of man, if you want a man who loves God, if you want a man who is going to care for you, if you want a man who's going to be respectful and, not think of you in a way that's kind of like you're easy, you might say to yourself, whatever, I know I'm not easy, doesn't matter. Okay, but you need to face the reality. The way you advertise yourself is important. Similarly, if you were to go on an interview and you were dressed in a way that wasn't appropriate for that job or for that formal setting, you would be looked at a certain way, right? Then you wouldn't get the job. You would be judged. They would say, okay, you're not dressed for the occasion. Similarly, if you're looking to be a wife, you need to dress as a wife. So you should not be dressed in a way to where you have a lot of cleavage exposed, where you're wearing short clothing, where you're wearing super tight fitted clothing, you're exposed and it's not a beach setting. You have to just remember those things, because everything we do should glorify God in our speech, our clothing, the way we present ourselves to the world. And I think this is such an important topic because you're representing Christ in everything that you do. So just start to think to yourself, okay, if I wear this, am I representing Christ well? Am I glorifying God with my appearance right now? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't put it on. If the outfit that you're wearing, and I'm not talking about somebody who has a certain shape, people are shaped differently, right? If you have a super curvaceous body, you are going to get attention from the opposite sex. I'm talking about people, it doesn't matter what type of shape you have. I'm just talking about the way that we're dressing. And here's another example. Even you may be someone who goes to church or not. The Lord says, come as you are, but you should be coming appropriately. You should not be coming in super tight fitting clothing. It's inappropriate. You should be wearing an outfit that, is not super huggy on your behind. You shouldn't be wearing midriff clothing. You shouldn't be wearing cleavage at all. You should be wearing something that is glorifying God. You should be able to go up front and go up to the altar without the ushers coming to cover your behind because you're wearing super tight clothing. You need to wear something that honors God. And you may say to yourself, well, I'm just coming. It's all about me. I love God. It doesn't matter. We need to face reality. If you're wearing a super tight fitting outfit, it doesn't matter what type of shape you have, you can be distracting people, right? You can be just like if you were a teacher, right? If I'm a teacher and I've taught before, and I know I'm going to be in the front of my classroom, I'm not going to go to school as a teacher wearing a super tight dress, knowing that I'm going to be up at the board all day and I could potentially be distracting my students. So think of things that way. You need to glorify God in your dress. And I've even seen someone recently in church, they had on like a midriff top. They had like a shawl over it, but then it was a midriff top. It's like, that's not something that you would typically wear in church. And you want to do something that's respectable, respecting the atmosphere. If you're not going to go on an interview with a midriff top that shows your stomach and with a blazer over it, you're not going to go to church dressed in that manner. So we have to be realistic, and a lot of times it has to do with women trying to get attention in terms of trying to find a man. Let's just be respectful, and just like to talk about the church thing as well. Like when you're going to church, you're going to be dressed in a manner that's glorifying God. Dressed well, dressed best, your best. I don't know. Let me know. What would be your thought if you were in church and you saw a lady in 6-inch heels? What would be your thought process behind that? Maybe it's just me, but that's not even a big deal. But for me, it kind of makes me think to myself, okay, this is like probably a single person. These are probably shoes that they used to wear when they used to go to the club. I could be wrong about that. Let me know what you think about that. The heels thing is not so important, but that just came to mind as well, right? But it's more so, not even in church, but just in general. It's more so like just the way we go out, the way we go out about, like what I've seen on social media. It's always the women who are really like single, who are dressed in that manner. And then once they, I guess, have a man or husband or fiance, now they're dressing more appropriately. I guess they feel like they no longer have to dress that way to attract someone. So just know God wants you to glorify him in everything that you do. So, you know, you don't want to go around in such a way to where, think about this. Let's say you have a teen daughter, or a cousin who's young, who's a female, who's like 15, 16. What are you going to advise her about the way to dress? Are you going to tell her, yes, wear cleavage, show your breasts, you know, wear skin tight clothing, wear short shorts that show your behind? You're not going to tell her to wear that, because you know that's going to attract a certain kind of attention. So think about those things. Think to yourself when you're thinking about what you should wear, two things. Think, does this glorify God the way I'm looking? Or if this was my daughter or my young cousin who's a female, would I tell her to dress this way, and why not? Think those things, right? We want to make sure that people are honoring God, you know. And then you can say to yourself, well, it has nothing to do with me. If someone wants to look at me in that manner, that's not my problem. But the Bible does say that you don't want to be doing things that are going to cause someone to fall. So there's no reason for anybody to be going out showing revealing cleavage unless you're at the beach. You know, you can wear a bikini top, that's up to you. Or something that's going to be wearing really tight clothing, really fitted shorts that show your behind, or a skirt where if you just bend over 1 inch, you're going to see everything. So it's really important for us to dress in a respectable manner, a way that's going to be honoring to God. And once again, this has nothing to do with anybody's body types, because certain body types, regardless of what you wear, we can see, you know, your shape. But there's a way to dress yourself tastefully. Whether you have a curvy body, whether you have a slim body, whether you have an overweight body, it's just really important for us to dress in a way that honors God. And this just sparked my thought process just based on what I saw online. And a lot of times it's the ladies who are single. And I'm here to say, like, ladies, you're beautiful. There's no reason for you to be posting those types of pictures. The picture I saw recently was a lady, she had like a bikini, but she posted it on social media. It was like a thong bikini, and then she was like looking from behind. This is someone I know. Once again, she looks amazing, but it was just kind of like, wow, like this is clearly a lady who's single and is maybe hoping to attract somebody, because from what I've seen, usually people, when they have relationships, they don't dress in that manner. But ladies, you're beautiful. You don't want the men who are going to be running to you when you're dressed in that manner. You want the man that's going to see you for who you are. They're going to see you as a classy lady, and they're going to say, oh, this lady's a wife. And I've seen recently where men, now they're talking about like they don't like a lady with a big social media presence, but that's because they know, especially like dressed a certain way on social media, because they know that there's a lot of men that are going to be flocking to that. So if you are a man and you want a wife, you're not going to want your wife to be out there on social media with a lot of cleavage and a lot showing their breasts and showing all of their body, having a lot of bikini pictures. So ladies, start thinking about those things. Think about how you're going to glorify God with your body, mind, soul, spirit. And then also think about what you're representing by how you're posting yourself. So hope you have an amazing, blessed day. Let me know what you think down below. Have you seen where there's a lot of ladies posting thirst traps? And how do you feel about that? What do you think it stems from? Ladies, you're beautiful. Don't ever forget that. But make sure that you're honoring God with your appearance, your look, how you present yourself to the world, and also make sure you're setting a good example for other people. So there's young ladies that are watching you. You want to be a good example for them. So have an amazing, blessed day. Let me know what you think down below. I'm really curious to hear your comments. Bye.